on the track immediately. They are prepared and ready for this sort of thing.
And the smoke has cleared. We will have an F-16 ready to through you.
We will indeed. Actually, this is a really good moment to make this announcement because you've just seen those cars race up the runway. There is a...
Where do they hold all the stuff out here?
So let the horns do the thing, do y'all.
Wish to dedicate this pass to all those men and women from all branches of the United States Armed Forces and its allies who are bravely fighting around the world or who have lost their lives while defending freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, from your right, the High Alpha.
for a maxway turn here, so about 350 knots.
So if you can wave back, please do so. I'm sure he'd enjoy that, actually. There's got to be a smile on his face as he's doing it, surely.
Yeah, if you're flying and not smiling, you're probably doing it wrong.
So, I'm sort of wondering, is this expected? He's actually landing. Amazing, the Battle of Britain, the Allied invasion of Italy, and the invasion of Normandy. He was shot down 4 times during the war, but sadly passed away on the 17th of March, aged 105. Lest we forget.
And then it is the A320 of Jetstar taking
Fishing terra firma.
it will roll out and turn around and come back, and the flying will continue here at Avalon as to show what our veterans flew, etc.
Just give us a bit of background on what you actually do apart from this.
Oh, I'm a quality pilot normally, fly A330s out of Melbourne. So this is a reserve role for me, and a lot more fun than trying not to spill everyone's coffee on.
I do want to run through, it's not this in the Spitfire, it's such a small cockpit.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have a look at it over the last weekend at Point Cook, and I tell you what, it seems like everything's just right there, within, less than, fingertip reach.
Neil, if you look to your right, a camera opportunity here. We have the Mustang, the Spitfire, the Super Hornet and the F-35 in formation together. That is just something. Absolutely spectacular.
Pistons are going to come in for a break very close to the crowd.
So who is actually leading and talking on
the
this?
Mustang. So there you go, the brake, then they'll pull, they'll go to max afterburner. and then the Spitfires. The P8 is based.
So what you're going to be seeing now is how our assets for the Australian Air Force and the Royal Space Navy work together, and we have some flares on the left there and the P8 Poseidon too. So we do have a
Let's get that out. Airlift and cargo type aircraft that we have in the Defence Force.
We also can't forget we're going to see some of our security forces in action too on the ground. So you're in for a bit of a treat here today as our heritage aircraft from 100 Squadron come in for a landing.
So you can just see the differences there. The Mustang is landing it on the wheels, called a wheeler landing, main wheels, and letting the tail down gently now. Whereas the Spitfire, you'll see Scotty will come in and he'll essentially do a tail low wheeler, if not a three-pointer in the Spitfire, because of the prop clearance issues I was talking about earlier. He's now holding off. There we are. Essentially a three-point landing for the Spitfire.
We have a Poseidon coming in from the right, a P8 Poseidon, which will tell us all about Neil and Hinksy.
Yeah, today's P8 Poseidon is flown by Flight Lieutenant Josh Brown from 292 Squadron. He's a QFI. He's been specialist aircrew, a qualified flying instructor.
About, again, the E7 would be sitting on high and they would be directing ordinarily this traffic.
Absolutely right. So, for example, when we were tasked to go and support the search for MH370, the E7 will be sitting aloft at around about 25,000 feet, well off the coast. All the way from P8 to various other countries' search and rescue type aircraft.
And of course the MH60R variant, the Romeo, the Seahawk there, giving a bit of a demonstration of some of its manoeuvrability and capability. And I tell you what, these are absolutely amazing aircraft, submarine hunters, great for search and rescue as well. And we've seen them operating alongside the P8 Poseidon and everything from rescues. There was only one recently that the Navy and the Air Force participated in off Queensland when a person in a ship was impacted by Tropical Cyclone Alfred, and they went in and did a rescue.
Very versatile helicopter. It's from the USA, basically made by Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin, with 24 currently in service and another 12 expected to be in service by the end of the year.
We have the P8 coming around again from the right.
So ordinarily you would see the P8 Poseidon, not necessarily over land, obviously, because they're a maritime operated aircraft. So often you'll see them as low as 100 feet flying along the coastline around Australia to keep that surveillance around the Australian borders.
You'll notice there that the on-bay doors are open on the P8 past the P8 is basically a 737 800 fuselage. An increased strength and landing.
And the Romeo helicopter operated by 816 Squadron and 725 Squadron. And with that, we'll wrap in.
Okay.
And a couple of roulets as well.
This is an amazing bit of flying.
Yeah, so he's really using hand speed and little extra to stick on the pedals to do that rotational 720 degree turn. As I mentioned yesterday, you'll notice on one side of the helicopter sort of what looks like holes, basically, as you can see them right now, and those are for dispensing sonar buoys. You almost called me out yesterday.
Well, the sonar goes into the water and it emits a signal. It bounces up the submarine. It gives away the position of the submarine.
One ping, Vasily. A ping on a Chinook, etc. To the larger Air Force aircraft like the Charlie 130 and the C-17.
And you're going to see a fairly short landing here. And these aircraft can land on unprepared strips, as well as an airfield like here at the Australian International Airshow at Avalon.
So what will we see here, Hinksy? A demonstration of troops who secure an airfield, is that right?
Absolutely, our Security Forces Squadron, in fact it's number 1 Security Forces Squadron based at RAF Base Williamtown in Newcastle are going to come out, and basically their role is to secure the airfield for the other aircraft that might be coming in. In fact, we're going to see the C-27J Spartan open its rear ramp in just a sec. In the back is a loadmaster, and he'll be directing the troops and the aviators in the back of the aircraft as to when it's clear for them to actually leave. And we'll see them come out in a defensive position and protect the airfield for the aircraft as they come through. So here come the aviators of number 1 Security Forces Squadron.
Now, how many people does the Spartan normally carry on something like this?
It's a fairly, about 30 to 35 people that they can carry quite successfully and land on some of these smaller airstrips. They are an exceptionally, I've been lucky to fly on these quite a number of times and land on some of those unprepared strips.
Another aircraft you've been in, Hinksy, is coming in from the right.
Actually, you know, I've never been.
You've never been in a herd.
I've never been operating inside the battle space. You'll see the Romeo coming in to the right there now, back into the hole.
Well, very, very handsome machine, it must be said.
So you'll see the C-130J Hercules off in the distance, and it will be pitching into land, and that will have another group of security forces on board, this time from RAF Base Amberley with the number 2 Security Forces Squadron, with some more overwatch here from our F-35A Lightning IIs.
So in a situation, Clutch, where you get called upon by the troops on the ground, maybe they
troops on the ground, in particular a JTAC, so a Joint Terminal Attack Controller would be the primary means.
Hold on Avalon Airport right here, so it's going to protect the runway for a larger following on force to secure the airfield. So today they're going to be using a small dismounted force, but the squadron will normally operate using larger formations with its protected mobility vehicles, small, faster, specialist tactical vehicles, which you can see them often drive out of the back of the aircraft, which are required to meet the squadron's unique ground and combat roles. Many are based defensive operations in high friendly places. They also have the absolutely, we've seen those around today. We've seen some puppies around as well, and they'll be working hand in hand with those security forces. But all of these
sorry, Clutch, how accurate can you be when you're protecting these guys?
Very accurate. We know down to the metre sometimes exactly where they are, and it's the finale that we need in a modern day war.
So basically 3 personnel operating the Charlie 130 as a minimum. You've got a pilot.
Yeah, absolutely right. So through the link networks that we have, through all the different sensors and data fusion that we have across the ADF, especially when we integrate is where we see that the most. So every platform brings something to the fight, and every platform has its right place as well. So you're only seeing a very small demonstration of the capability here today in the ADF showcase, but when we do these training missions and exercises like Talisman Sabre, and when we go across the US as well and do exercises like Red Flag, it's where we really get to see how critical our data sharing is, and more importantly the integration aspect as well.
Now, Clutch, obviously we're seeing the different fighter jets being the F-35A Lightning II and the FA-18F Super Hornet, different crews. We've got a single pilot in the F-35 and a pilot and a weapons systems officer in the F-18F Super Hornet. So how does that integration happen, particularly what would be happening now for you and the weapons systems officer?
Yeah, great question. So for me personally, in the front seat as a pilot, I'll be maintaining battle-based awareness, more so from the air side aspect. The weapons systems officer will be more of the mission commander. When I mention the mission commander, or team lead for the close air support assets that we've got. So they'll be managing weapons loadouts, not only on their jet, but their formation as well as the package as well. So at any given time, if the troops on the ground need a particular weapon, they know which aircraft is done and they know which aircraft is in the best position to be able to actually employ that. So it's where we can divide the cockpits in the Super Hornet and actually conquer a great deal.
And during this, say during a display like this, what are you looking at?
Everything. But we can't look at everything at once, so we break it up and we have what we call a selective radial scan. So we like to prioritise what we're doing when we're flying the aircraft, and actually prioritising deconfliction, look at where all the other assets are, and actually just look out the window as well. Both the aircraft that you'll see here just today, the F-18F Super Hornet and the F-35A Lightning, have a helmet-mounted display. So at any point we can also look out and look down at the ground. We'll have symbology of being that primary person to talk to the JTAC, get all the information, get the battle space awareness and situation of what's currently happening. More importantly, where our friendly forces are located. It can be quite a complex environment, but most importantly we need to know where our friendlies are so we can take part as well as do our mission as well.
And in certain operations, it's not just a case of you could just do a show of force or a show of presence, which would be a deterrent, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And we train for that as training on the CT4, and then over to 2FDS on the PC9, then onto the Hawk at 79 and 76 Squadron, before I went onto the Super Hornet at number 1 Squadron.
How long did
training
that take altogether?
All together 4.5 years, from when I enlisted and got my commission to when I was a fully qualified pilot on the Super Hornet.
And what was it I assume, as a kid, this is what you always wanted to do?
I never thought I was smart enough. I always wanted to do it, but I never thought I would actually make it there. So it wasn't until year 12 that I actually sat down and had a good think about what I wanted to do in my life, and I realised that, hey, I can do this if I graduate high school, and I just apply myself would be my biggest point.
And what was your inspiration?
Honestly, it was flying watching the pilots fly River Fire in Brisbane. So Brizzy Boy, and seeing the Super Hornet was just phenomenal.
And last year you got the amazing opportunity to fly that route as well.
I absolutely did, and so did the C-17, which everyone's going to see land here in a second.
Now this is a strategic cargo aircraft, but it can also work in a tactical role, and with the enormous reverse thrust it can land on an unprepared runway, it can land on ice.
Strategic cargo in the Royal Australian Air Force. What are we seeing now here?
Absolutely. So we've got Glib and Bam Bam rolling in now for a simulated straight pass with some flares popping out, and then followed by that we've got Freddie and Winnie in Dash 2 also weapons. We can do that show of force and show of presence to deter while we safely get our troops out. And of course, all these roles, you can go and check out the Defence Force recruiting, our ADF careers, right here at the Australian International Airshow. And not just that, you can check out adfcareers.gov.au. You could be one of our security forces members of number 1 and number 2 security forces squadrons, loadmasters, aircrew, pilots, weapon systems officers, and obviously we're not seeing them here today, the number 6 squadron EA-18G Growler, which is a very, a slightly different variant of what you would fly. Yeah, so same airframe, just a different internal setup is what we like to refer to. The only difference with the airframe is they've got different wingtips. So on the Super Hornet, we like to carry the AIM-9X Sidewinder missile, whereas the Growler will have the ALQ 218s, which, a lot of fancy speak there, they're essentially the ears. So they listen out for all the different signals that could be coming from a vast variety of radars, early warning radars, surface-to-air systems, and then they can process that, and the electronic warfare officer in the backseat will actually process all those signals and then give cues to the jamming pods to actually jam those signals as well. So an incredible capability, and we really need those Growlers and people in the Growlers as well.
Tell us how that works in Red Flag when you do that exercise, how you and the Growlers are eating the Super Hornet, better glasses on. There we go, I think I've got them.
What a great camera opportunity.
That is
F-35s coming in low and fast.
remember, a lot of noise, so just protect your hearing.
Just because we don't have the facilities in Australia like what the US do. But I'd argue that what we can achieve in Australia with our training and our exercises is very, very close to a red flag.
And we do have a reminder here today for the here today. Just a reminder to people around the static displays who are in the crowd to please do not smoke around.
Back in the commentary booth now.
Indeed, and it is an absolutely glorious bit of footage there of the Beach 18. It's a really extraordinary and fairly iconic.
I'm closer to the crowd, then we've got Freddie and Winnie further away. So give them the wave as they pitch into the circuit. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think it's one thing seeing it on social media and it's one thing seeing it on the news, but actually get to see an F-35 and say good day.
And Clutch, you're going to be there at the FA10F Super Hornet very shortly.
I'll be floating around, yeah, so please feel free to come up and say good day. We've got a few giveaways with pins and things like that, so One Squadron. Yeah, I'd also argue One Squadron's got the best merch stand as well, but we'll see.
Okay, so that is Glib and Bam Bam in the first of the Super Hornets, and followed by a special, I'm not saying.
Beautiful touchdown there. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for your Australian Defence Force showcase here at the Australian International Airshow.
Pilots, but this particular aircraft is Doug's, which is located up at Wangaratta. Doug owns a business that manufactures sort of unique aviation parts, and it's an restoration for the birds there as well.
And it's often referred to as a classic airliner. Its roots was in airline.
Beechcraft harmonise their aircraft beautifully. Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah, look, I've flown it a little bit. I've been lucky to do a couple.
Thank you to all of our sponsors.
Who do a great job in helping to bring this wonderful air show to you. As I said, the Avalon runway remains active for Jetstar, who come in and out from all points of the country. Getting a lot there, and it's good.
I'll just tell you a bit of intel too from our Royal Australian Air Force people that there are some people doing a bit of smoking and a bit of vaping near the aircraft. Can we please remind absolutely everybody not
quite low. And I'll hand over now to Squadron Leader Neil Whitehead, who'll lead us through this display.
Just as we get ourselves rearranged here in the commentary booth. Relax, settle back. We're in for a bit of interesting commentary here. And welcome back, Neil Whitehead.
Military designation. I don't know if it's called the 18, but the military just loves the designation. But yeah, they did, yeah. I wish I could, I don't know, there's something like that. Oh, I love it.
I think it has a bit of a history as being sort of a target or a mothership for target drones as well. Maybe the historians can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, target drones were introduced at the end of the war. The Germans were very fond of them, certainly at the end of the war. So radio-controlled flying bombers for precision attacks, the Germans used them on bridges, and the Americans got very much into it at about 45, 46. I'm just going to draw your attention, if it hasn't been already, to the incredible baby walk going past us.
Over. Beautiful plan form of that aircraft.
And Doug displaying the manoeuvrability of the aircraft.
Yeah, beautiful heralding lines.
He's obviously having fun. You can tell.
You wouldn't spill your cup of tea in those.
Steal the president's role.
So you know what you're talking about. And behind us here is, this is one of your aircraft artifacts.
That's right, and this is a near 100-year-old museum quality fuselage built in September 1925, the 12th ever DH-60 mod, and in February 1925, the first of those flew, and Airshows have got some wonderful graphics of that being shown on the graphical displays here. This fuselage flew in the 1930s in Australia, joined the Air Force during World War II, and went private in the 1950s, but in 1985 it was going to be restored, and this fuselage was
around the world over the last few years to replace the E3 and from the UK the Nimrod. So how much of a difference is there? Because the jet engines, the turboprops.
That's correct. Performance-wise, a lot. The range we can get with this, especially with the air-to-air refueling capability that we have, so we can tank with the KC-30, extend our range up to 20 hours with augmented fuel as well. In terms of emission processing power, it's very new, so it's very efficient and ADBOOM anymore, which is the magnetic anomaly detector. This aircraft was originally purposed as a high-altitude ASW platform, and we have the submarines with what's called a sonobuoy, which is pretty much a microphone system. So the next time we visit the submarine, we can track it and eventually find it.
You've got internal weapon bay as well as hard points. So what sort of mix of things can you carry?
Yeah, that's correct. So within the weapon bay, we've got 5 hard points. We can attach 5 Mark 54 lightweight.
You operate from your base?
It's got long legs. It can travel pretty fast. So it can travel about 2,000 miles, get about 4 hours on station, and then travel smooth. If you want to travel in a straight line, it's about 7,000 kilometres worth of trip.
And that's without refueling?
That's without refueling, yeah.
So, like you said, when you go to refuel...
Normal raise, train, sustain cycles, building up for another deployment, and then you go away.
Now, he's got his wheels down, but obviously not going to land. Tell me, what is that called? What sort of pass?
So this is a dirty pass.
And what does that mean?
The flaps are out, the gear's down, we configured the aircraft for a simulated landing, and the aircraft's making a lot of drag, so it's really a dirty pass. And also to a clean pass, so the gear's up, the flaps are up, and the aircraft is nice and sleek.
And the wheels have just gone up, as you can see, and the flaps have gone up, so it's now clean. That's your journey into doing what you do. Were you a straight A, top of the form student, or what happened?
Not at all. No, I think to become a pilot in the Air Force, my main advice would be just
so we've done our best. We've got everyone in.
I don't believe it. I'm going to have to interrupt the CEO of the AMDAR Foundation Limited. But just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, from the left, we have the glorious Spartan.
C-27J. Justin, we know things can go wrong at air shows. We pray that they don't. But when they do, the response will be the first responders. That's key to survival, isn't it?
It was incredible, the response. So we set up an ECC, what was offered at mixed reports, that he is conscious and talking, but I know that he is very low. And I just want to wish him all the best.
Sails above us at very low altitude where it's designed to operate as a tactical battlefield airlifter. And the flying display for today and for tomorrow, we're going to see similar flying displays, do you think, Justin?
Yes, well, today we've only shortened it, but they're just a PDF you print out and you bring.
All right.
Justin Giddings, CEO of AMDA, thank you so much for coming down and giving us a little bit of your time today and for updating us and to talk all things Avalon Airshow.
Thank you very much.
Justin Giddings, the CEO of AMDA, the foundation that present the Avalon Airshow, the Australian International Airshow. As we see the C-27 coming in from the right, doing, well, as I said, what it does best, it can pull up less than 1,000 feet. Absolutely, I think I'm going to go on the record. This is one of the most beautiful aircraft operated by the modern LWF.
Well, it started with it's that dark look too.
Oh, it's a terrible as well, and it makes it everything beautifully. In Italy, going to America, and they put all the mission equipment on it, and then it's operated.
Doing its party trick. The C-27J plays a vital role in regional peacetime operations, providing critical support for humanitarian and disaster relief efforts, search and rescue missions, aeromedical evacuations, essential airlift tasks, including troop movements, cargo transport, airdrop operations, you name it, it's here, doesn't it? And I think we have, oh yes we do, we have back in the cockpit here, Greg Hinks, and we have Justin Stevens. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much. Afternoon, Hinks here. Afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day for this.
So, Steve, what have we just seen? We've seen it, and this, whilst it may not have the same short takeoff and landing, it really does have some increased capabilities for Air Force.
Absolutely. Nothing can really totally replace a Caribou, but this comes pretty close. It's got the ability to take off on those tight strips up around Papua New Guinea that the Caribou was renowned for, being able to support the land force very effectively.
Now, the manoeuvrability on the C-27J Spartan, run us through that.
Oh, look, being so small and light, it is really agile.
So the Raptors will soon be taxiing to backtrack, so you will get to see them up close and personal before their exhilarating display, which will be commentated by the Pacific Air Forces. So what are we seeing now?
Very agile, so you'll see them turn away and then turn back towards the crowd. You'll be able to see the plant for the aircraft. A very compact, very capable airlift.
Now, this is an Italian-made aircraft.
It is, and we love it. We love our espressos, and we love this aircraft.
Here we go. Magic!
I'm going to just run with lots.
Didn't you count them?
I lost count halfway through.
We'll leave a slow motion replay for that.
Absolutely.